all you beautiful people. What's good? What's happening? Or should I say, what are you creating in this beautiful moment of now? Remembering that it is all your creation. So today I would love to talk about the current purging that is taking place within the collective and the desire for I want to escape it, let's say. The feeling of wanting to run away. It will pass, and it will pass very soon. It seems the more that I continue to go forwards, the more I realise that I experience things slightly ahead of what we call time, so that I understand them and can then share them. These experiences, these events that we then collectively put together and call life. So the closer we become to the truth of who we are, the more lonely we often feel. And then the more that we try to clamber on to what we previously believed to be true. It's all ego, fear-based, with a desire to want to understand where we're going and where we stood, to have a solid ground to move forwards from. But being cosmic surfers, we can surf upon the waves of existence, knowing that everything is just energy vibrating at different frequencies, and it goes up and down. Hey Betty, thank you. All my love. So, at the moment, within the collective, nobody knows what's going on. The excitement has been slowly drained away from us with a tactic that has been used very, very specifically and mindfully from those which are using it. Thank you. So I'm just going live again on Instagram because it's laggy, because the internet doesn't work. It's another one of those things that has been affected by COVID. So let's try. If we do ever get any internet. I know that I'm now streaming through 2 different devices on 2 different platforms, but that was fine a year ago. Right, I'm going to continue and then see if Instagram wants to join as and when. So okay, let me try and think of a story to put this into context. Okay, so let's imagine, if you will, that life is a computer game. And in this computer game, the computer game that we call life, with you being character player number 1 within the game, hello Instagram once again, you have certain abilities that you have access to, that you mindfully have access to within that game. Thanks for that, Clay. The thing is that we can press pause, go into the option menu, and actually gain new attributes, new qualities. We can bring in new learnings, and with these new learnings, level ourselves up, as it were. The more that we know, the more that we can do. The more information we have at our disposal, the more logical and mindful decisions we can come to in any given situation. The more we're in a state of fear and panic, the more blinded we are to the truth of who we are, and also that which connects us, which is, as you all know, love. Love is the air that we breathe, the glue that binds us together. So at the moment, because there is such a uncertainty as to where we're going, what we're doing, or who we even are, because the old world, as we know, has fallen away, the old 3D, and now we're living in the 5D, to label it, to bring an understanding to that label. The truth is, you are multidimensional and eternal. There is no realm of existence that you are subjected to other than the one that you subject yourself to. There is nothing you are limited by other than the limitations you cast upon yourself. So, for me, and let's just refer back to the self, and then if you resonate, then great. If not, then there is another reason that you are connected at the moment. Perhaps somebody in the comments might say or suggest something that sparks that remembrance, because we are here to inspire and to guide each other. We're all teachers and students together. So for myself, I have been working in front of these screens for a very long time now, creating something that I know is world-changing. In doing so, I have to become very, very structured and regimented. And in this, there has been a desire to remain free, to just exist, being me, doing what it is that I wish to do at any given moment. There is then almost a self-defiance, because I don't particularly want to do this, but I know it's for a greater good, so I choose to. But then there's also that part of me, the inner child, that doesn't want to do what it was told to do and feels scolded and scorned and victimized and repressed, that I desire for freedom to be experienced by. So then I give myself that freedom. So then there's that constant internal battle between sitting and doing the work and allowing myself to be and to do what it is that I choose in any given moment. The more that I structure myself, the further I go away from myself, because the more masculine I become and the more straight-lined and, well, I can't see anything anymore other than what's right in front of me, and I miss all the beauty of the world around. And if we're so focused on trying to hold on to something that previously has been an understanding to the conscious mind, to the ego of who we are, or where we are, or the world at large, then we will do everything we can to hold on to it. Again, what is inside is what is out. So I ask each and every one of you to stop, to just literally stop everything you're doing. Stop trying to understand. Stop trying to find a direction to travel towards. Stop trying to do anything. Because at the moment, it's like we're trying to follow a map that we have previously had access to with all the information that we have previously experienced. This map is useless because where we are going isn't yet discovered. So there is no map that we can follow towards it. So we're following this egoic map, this human map, and we're just getting lost and more frustrated, more and more separated from the self. It's the internal compass which guides us. And at the moment, because we are so frantically moving around, that compass is just spinning. So you're looking in front and you'll keep moving around in different directions, and it appears as though the compass is spinning. In truth, it's you that's spinning. The compass is always still, but your perspective of it changes as you continuously move around it. By stopping and releasing, as I did yesterday. I had a lot of releasing yesterday. I cried over and over. And then I went and laid face down in the mud and connected back to our beautiful, beautiful mother. And lo and behold, there was that remembrance that none of it even matters anyway. So why is it I'm trying so hard to do or to be or to achieve something that doesn't feel the most joyful and free-flowing to me in any given moment? Yes. freedom to be me. To live your greatest life is to live as your most authentic self. That's it. And the way, again, it's all frequency. We each one of us a unique frequency of the self. You could look at it as a different colour in the rainbow. If yellow tried to be blue, the whole rainbow's distorted and polluted. Not only yellow isn't being yellow and true to itself, but the entire collective is fucked, which is what is going on at the moment, because we're all trying to do and to be things that we're not. So just fucking stop. And for me, my external projection of the internal. So I've been trying to control and regiment myself. And what do I see when I look out the window? Control. Oh, they're trying to control us. They're trying to manipulate us. They're trying to separate us and alienate us from ourselves and each other. They're trying to force things upon people that they don't want. Hang on. I am the universe in completion, and I create my own reality. Everything within it is mine, in creation and experience. Co-created, yes. But the victimization and repression of the self is only ever the self. Because it's all in here. If I feel angry about something that's taking place, it's me that is feeling angry about that thing, because I have attached egoic desire to control or manipulate the situation. If I don't mind it, it doesn't matter. The ego hasn't attached itself to something, then it has no meaning to that self. This is why there's some people that can always trigger you more spontaneously, let's say, more effortlessly, because you're more egoically attached to them. You want somebody to be a certain way. Well, that again is your want. That's you trying to manipulate and control them, instead of just looking in yourself and being who you want. And then once you truly live authentically as you, you can allow for every other self or projection of the self to be authentic in their own unique way. If you're blue and you go about trying to make everybody else be blue, it becomes pretty boring. And in truth, that is the realization that we are travelling towards. The truth that there is no separation. That to bring back the colour of blue in completion, that everything is blue. And when we come to that point, all of a sudden we're alone again. Because being singular, there is only the self. And even as this self, if I become alone, there's always a conversation going on with somebody else. Different parts of myself, internally, that I then project and see externally. We're never alone. Yet the more we come into unity, one, the more the ego tries to cling on to its old way and its old view of the world. How is everybody at the moment with the feeling of frustration and victimization, feeling as though literally you want to run away from any people or situations, from old jobs, from old relationships, likened to the dark night of the soul in the spiritual awakening journey? Seems to be something that's happening everywhere to everyone, as though there really is a release of the old, a change of the guards. But some of them don't quite want to let go yet. Yes, there would be no colour. If there was only light, there would be nothing other than light. It's the darkness which brings the depth and the perspective to the artwork that is us. Without shading, I would be nothing. So it's learning to play in the darkness, learning to surrender to the darkness as opposed to trying to run away from it. Because as I always say, it's the greatest of treasures that are found in the darkness. And again, there is no map to follow. And there is only that internal guidance, that internal compass. And quite often you have to just wander around aimlessly and mindlessly in the dark until you trip over something. And in that moment, there is quite often a feeling of failure, falling over. Hey Susie. But the truth is, when you fall, instead of going, oh poor me, I've fallen over, I'm no good, I'm useless, I'm worthless, which again is coming up massively for the collective, within the self previously as well, and instead of going, shut up little me, going, I see you, why is it you feel like that, how can I help you? It's being your own mother, or your own father, your own mother and father, becoming the masculine and feminine, the divine masculine and feminine, the father and the mother, the king and the queen, the leader of all, in completion within the self. And as I say, when we fall over in the darkness, tripping over something that we would curse for having been in our path, if we actually look back and feel for it, we will discover the treasure that we have been seeking all along. It is only found in the darkness. It is only found through blind will. And then only discovered through the actual acceptance of having fallen and the wondering as to why. Okay, this has happened. I've fallen. I've failed. Why did I fail? What information can I take from this experience so that I can learn and grow, so that I can pass this down to generations to come, so we can evolve as a collective, continuing to evolve the human consciousness, the collective consciousness, the universal consciousness that is the self, that is the collective I. And in doing so, as I continue to expand my consciousness, as you continue to expand your consciousness, you continue to expand the very universe itself, as the universe must expand in order to house your continued expansion of self. And so the game goes on, with you being the avatar vessel, the avatar being the character that you are then also simultaneously playing a game that you are also creating it within the parameter of infinite. Anything you can imagine, you can create, if only you believe it so. In truth, if only you don't think about it at all, just bring in the frequency, and there it is. A flower, let's say, it sits there as a flower. It just grows. It doesn't wonder if it's good enough, or if it's growing straight, or if it's growing the right colour. It just grows. It just is. And in growing, it then attracts to it the bees which pollinate it and allow it to continue the cycle of reproduction. It doesn't go around chasing after the bees, because if it did, every time it got near one, that bee would then fly off and find another flower that was just sat there, that it was being guided towards, gravitationally, magnetically, utilizing the law of attraction. The flower brings to it the bees that it requires simply by being a bee, and just by vibrating at, I'm a flower, come and pollinate me. Be the best flower you can be, and be the best bee you can be, knowing that there will always be a frequency being emitted by you, and that there will always be a frequency emitted by another that is on a similar bandwidth, a similar vibration to you. People who like rock music go to rock music events together and enjoy various things that they have in common. People who like electronic music, again, come together, dance and party and uplift and love upon each other. Take somebody who likes rock and put them in the middle of a classical music event, unless they also like classical music, they're probably not going to be very vibrationally matched to that experience. And then everybody else there might look at them and go, oh, what are they doing here? They don't belong. But in truth they do, because it's again the diversity and the depth. And without various genres of music, the next one would not have evolved from it. So everything and anything anyone does is always right. Nothing is ever wrong, only your perception of it. By allowing for what is, you can let it go. And when you let it go, you return to that natural state of flow. That's the only way to live. Well, it's not. There's many ways to live. But it's the most enjoyable and beneficial to everyone. Again, I said this today. And I know the difference in myself, not only through how I feel, but through where I go. If I'm out of sync, out of alignment with the self, then everywhere I go, I'm treated as though I'm a hindrance and a frustration. Because I am. To somebody in a shop. And unless you're your true self, you're not being uplifting and enriching to yourself and to everyone else. 95% of the time that I go into a shop, it's as though everyone stops and is like, what was that? Who's that? And then I speak to the people behind the cashier desk that serve you. And he's like, you right? Yeah. Most people, you okay? Yeah, good. And just carry on packing. So, how was your day? What time do you start today? When do you finish? What are you doing later? What are you doing at the weekend? And people, after the first, hello, how are you? It's like, yeah, autopilot. And you say again, and you actually inquire, and you delve into your questioning a bit further. And people are blown away. Like, what? You actually care? It's like, well, yes, because you're the person in front of me. So you're the most important person to me. Because you're the only person that exists in this given moment. Everything else is just a memory, or a projection, or a desire for a future situation. I'm speaking to you. Therefore, you are the most important person in the universe to me. And when I speak to you, now you're the most important person. And your views and your points and your perspectives are also the most important. Because without that diversity, again, there is no growth. If I believe my way is right, then I will only ever walk that limited path. And I'm limiting myself and everyone else once again by taking in all the information. Even that which is, really? Do we need to have this conversation? But maybe there'll be slightly different elements or ingredients that you haven't previously tried that will enrich your dish of life. Who knows? You'll never know if you don't give it a try. We don't know that which we don't know, right? So, what's today's message is really this, that it is all perfect. I know it might not seem it at times, but it is. And the way to most effortlessly and joyfully live in a state of bliss is simply to be you. And to choose to be you. Choosing to do everything that you do. So, having to go to work. I have to go to work tomorrow. Well, no, you don't. Well, yes, I do. No, you don't. Yes, I do. No, you don't. But I'll lose my job. Okay, so that would be a consequence of not going to work. But it doesn't change the fact that you don't have to go to work. But I wouldn't be able to pay my... Yeah, but you don't have to. I don't want to hear the excuses. I want to see the ownership and the creative authentication of everything that you do and everything you experience. Because this is the true you. In the game of life, once again, you will play and you will experience the character of your choosing. If you choose to play the character that is victim, then you will vibrate accordingly as victim. You will play the levels of victim, and you will attract to you everyone to repress you, to show you you are victim, because this is what you've asked for. If you choose to be owner, creator, then accordingly your game will be played. And that doesn't mean that we always consciously and egoically desire or like that which we experience, but through the acceptance of it comes the release of it once again. Like a river with water flowing down it. If a piece of rubbish is thrown into the river just flows it away and the rubbish is gone. If the river attaches to the rubbish, putting out some sort of branch out of the bank and attaching to the rubbish, then the rubbish is there. It's always there. It's still there. And it looks dirty and it's polluting the water. By throwing it away, non-ownership, non-attachment, releases it once again. So every time the ego comes up at the moment and tells you you need to either run away from something or to hold on to something, because there's this massive shift between wanting to run away and be on your own in completion, just sit in the dark and do nothing, and also wanting to hold on to everything that you know to be true and keep it really super safe, because we don't know. We literally do not know at the moment what is going on. And I ask, and this is a reminder to the self, not to focus on that which we do not wish to experience, because you are a powerful, powerful manifester. What you hold within your mind is then actualized and materialized through your experiences, through the path that you walk towards it. Again, I was shown this, and I've talked about this many a time as a ship. If there's jagged rocks to your right, beautiful open scenery to your left, if you focus on the rocks on your right, then you're going to be steering towards them and eventually crash into them. If you deny the rocks to the right and only focus on the left, then great, you're travelling towards the left. But if a side wind comes along, hi Jess's hair, once again. If a side wind comes along and blows you side on, and you deny the side wind, you deny the external implications and alterations to your path, then the wind might smash you side on into the rocks. So we be aware of that which is there, and we focus on that where we're going, knowing that any given time, if things start to adjust, and then we realise that we're being blown towards the rock, because we're still mindful of it, but we just don't focus any desire for it to be any particular way. We don't mind if we go towards it or away from it, because if we do get blown towards it, we just use the winds of life as a catapult to direct ourselves towards it, around it, and around the other side, actually then discovering the back of the island, the back of the rocks that we would have otherwise never discovered, and realizing that there's treasures to be discovered and found there, or an interaction or a connection to another person that would never have happened if it wasn't for those side winds. So one moment we're cursing somebody for affecting our path, changing the direction, and then when we use it to our advantage again, instead of denying it and being smashed side on, we use it and we choose it and we own it. Yes, okay, I'm going this way now. I don't mind which way I'm going, but I'm going this way, so this is the way I choose. Use it to your advantage. Changes your entire life. Believe me. Because there is a multitude, an infinite number of ways that you can fall over. And then there's an infinite number of ways you can learn how to get back up again. But it's only through the falling over that we learn to get back up. So keep failing. Fail as much as you can. Challenge yourself as much as you can. Grow as much as you can. Yes, exactly. Exactly. Beautiful. And if there wasn't rocks in my life, I wouldn't be doing this at all. So I give thanks to those rocks, to those failings, to those egoic shortcomings, and it's a feeling of failure. But remember, failing or failure means falling around in learnings until realizing everything. We're never going to know everything until the point we do, and then it's all gone again. So we'll always be failing. So fail with joy, happiness, and optimism, knowing that every failure takes you closer to success. If you're going to fail 100 times before you succeed, then get the fuck out there and start failing. Beautiful. Thank you, Annie. Thank you all. Thank you for being here with me, for being part of my journey, part of my story, for being mirrors that remind me of the beauty in myself and the world around. Thank you for being a source of inspiration and upliftment. Yes. You go left, you go right. Either way is right. You're just making it, choosing it. And again, there is nothing which is ever wrong. No decision is ever wrong. It's only what comes after the decision which makes it right or wrong. Choose it. Choose it all. Choose what's taking place out there, knowing that every step forwards is taking us closer and closer to that heaven on earth that we are co-creating now. Now being the only time that exists, and today being the only day. And as I say, it may not be the best day ever, but you can make it the best day possible. Love, light, and all that good stuff. Catch you on the other side. It's time to go surf that astral realm. I love you all. Namaste. Beautiful. Thank you for who you are and all you continue to do. Thank you for continuing to gain the knowledge, the wisdom, for continuing to look within and doing the work required to bring freedom to not only yourself, but everybody else. As you continue to do the work, as you continue to expand your consciousness and awareness, you continue the expansion and awareness of everybody else, helping others to break free from that limitation and illusion of old. Continue to support me in all I do. Continue to grow the movement and continue to grow yourself.